Okay, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva. So I finally sat down and watched, really more so listened, because I had stuff I had to do for my own personal growth and development, as well as try to figure out uh, how to get all my documentation to my tax attorney so we can file my taxes and keep Uncle Sam out my bank accounts and my paycheck, okay, as if they don't already take enough. Now, I don't think that we truly got anything out of these presidential debates other than everybody need to line up and go to the poll and vote. I know quite a few people are not too happy about either of the candidates. But I want to caution you that if you do choose to vote for someone in these outlier parties, Libertarian, Green, Tea, whatever, I don't know what the name of these other parties are, but we do not want another 2000, Bush versus Gore. Splitting of the votes that year cost us that really thought Democrats should have won a crucial. I mean, we ended up with 9/11. We ended up in two different countries, wars. We also were sold a bill of goods. Um, Donald Trump and Hillary tonight. Donald really did his best to point the finger. He did a lot of talking and deflecting instead of taking ownership or even articulating to us what his plan would be. And I'm just like, you sure are panhandling for this African American vote. Uh, I mean, what's going on in the inner cities is deplorable. Well, here's my thing. I've been watching this show called America Divided. I haven't watched the second episode, but I have watched the first episode. And if you don't know what American Divide is, it comes on Epix, which is a cable channel. It features famed television producer Norman Lear, Common, and help me get her name right. Why can't I get her name right? Somebody help me. But either way, each one has been tasked with pointing out the shortcomings, basically, in this country. Norman Lear was in New York, and they were talking out. Now, New York, isn't that Donald Trump's home base? Okay. New York, they are going through in what were considered the more affordable but low-income neighborhoods. You now have people coming in, these developers, both foreign and local, going in and forming these co-ops and buying this property and jacking the prices up. There was a lady on there that said that her rent was going to go from $900 a month to $2,100 a month. How can someone afford that who's been paying $900 a month? Donald Trump is a real estate developer. Are you going to provide low income housing? I mean, is that your plan for America? Because you didn't articulate that to save the ghettos and the low income. And since I guess he thinks all African Americans live in the inner city, I just wanted to. You could have said that. You could have said, well, as a property developer, which then my question in turn would have been, well, as a property developer, did you ever think it was in your best interest to make yourself look good during a presidential bid to develop affordable housing along with your high rises and casinos and golf courses? Because that's the only thing I can think. I think my friend Audrey said it. What is he going to do? Build a damn high rise in the Bronx or in the inner cities and tell us all to move in, but it's like $2,100 a month? I'm just asking. Let me see if I can go back to him, because I really couldn't track what all was going on, and I was like, Hillary can't get a word in. Otherwise, you really can't debate him. I found to be the most poignant question of the night was the last question of the night when the man asked each person to say something nice about the other. And Hillary said that she admired Donald Trump for his work with his children. And you know what he said? I don't think she's sincere. Obviously, you were not raised to just say thank you and then answer the question. And as far as him saying he's backpedaling a lot when it comes to, he has been the main one hollering immigrants, birthers, all of this. And I'm just trying to figure out now all of a sudden you say that the Muslims, when they come over here, oh, he says there is a problem with what? Islamophobia. Aren't you a spearheader of that movement? I'm confused. All you wanted to do was bring up Hillary's transgressions for emails and her husband's transgressions for stepping out. Bill Clinton is not running for president. Hillary Clinton is running for president. Okay? You wanted to talk about how horrible and deplorable the Affordable Health Care Act was? Well, guess what? A lot of people don't remember this, but we had a Republican-controlled Congress, which, by the way, keep in mind, almost all their damn seats are up for re-elections. So if you don't know who your congressperson is going to be, I suggest you start Googling it. Because we don't know what President Obama, just like Hillary's intentions was when she was first lady, was to get health care to be free for everyone. We couldn't get that. Because heaven forbid that those of us that can't afford health care are in need and can't get it. I'm like, thank God for private foundations, because when I was in law school, I couldn't afford health care at all. And I had a health care scare that came up where, thank God for people who had private foundations and donations, I was able to get that taken care of. And thank God it came back with a clean bill of health. But at least at that time, at my age, if I was under 26 then, I still could have been on my parents' health care. That's what the Affordable Health Care Act gives you. Not to mention, let's not talk about us with those pre-existing conditions. For some reason, you in the healthcare business, but you don't want to insure anyone that has a pre-existing condition. To me, that is baffling, because I thought the whole point of the healthcare industry is supposed to be people, not profits. But we all know that's not true, because these days everyone holds an obligation to shareholders. Shareholders over people, profits over people. Okay. Okay, Chris just said that my issue is people who are voting for Hillary need to stop making negative comments about her. If you're going to vote for her, vote for her. Your negativity could sway undecideds. I agree, Chris, and I'm probably one of those people that's probably said something. But then again, I've kind of always been a Hillary fan. I've actually met the woman. Of course, she was then going to be our first lady back in 92. Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school then. Audrey says she's not sure if Trump understands that it is a religion and not a race. I don't think he understands that. Oh, my cousin thinks I should run for president. I never want to run for public office, because I'm beginning to wonder if, I think that a lot of people who go into public service, and I have friends that are public servants, God bless them, but I just have no vested interest in being in the public aspect, because I think that a lot of people start out with the best intentions, but however, because the system is possibly corrupt, I just think that it would be in my best interest just to use my platform, become very wealthy, and set up foundations and help people in my own way. That's my whole goal right now. Let's see what else. He said something about Libya. I will say this. Libya is a hot mess. It is. I've noticed that each time we've gone in to take away someone that was supposed to be so horrible and deplorable, I will say this, is that them countries, there's a reason why they possibly ran the countries the way that they did. I'm just saying. And uh, the Libyan leader, I don't know. I'm not gonna get too detailed on that, but all I'm saying is that if you're gonna go in there or set it up to get them taken out, make sure you have something in place to be sure to catch it, or a catch all, because otherwise you're gonna have a hot mess, and then it becomes a hotbed for these people like ISIS and the jihadists and all of that to come in and just take over. So what else did he talk about? I want to know where these people, where these jobs are, where most of America, the majority of Americans make $250,000 a year, because I have yet to touch and agree with $250,000 a year, and I have a JD. Also, I did like the fact that Trump proposed a 15% income tax. I personally would prefer 10%, because that's what Jesus asked for. But 15% would be way greater. Because one of the things that disturbs me is that people seem to think that single people should pay the bulk share. And I'm just like, we're just as broke as you are. And most of us do have a dependent. Her name is Sally Mae. Although now Sally Mae has changed her name to something more navigational, Navient. Okay. Most of us have a dependent. Yeah. Her name is student loans. Okay. Or his name. However you want to call you, student loans. I'm just saying a lot of us do. I'm over $200,000 in debt. That's a condo. A one-bedroom condo in a semi-decent neighborhood here in California. So I think, what else did he say? Because I was tweeting and going back and forth here on Facebook too, because child, I don't want you regulating my uterus. That's all. I don't want y'all regulating my uterus. Trump wants to tax women and penalize us if we, heaven forbid, choose to do something with our bodies that they feel is out the ordinary. And yes, I'm sniffling too, but I promise you I'm not on cocaine. I just have allergies real bad. I need to take a Zyrtec, but I'm not ready to go to sleep. Let's see. I think he pissed Hillary off, and he kind of knocked her off of her game a little bit. I noticed that he said something about he would have locked her up in jail, or maybe that was earlier on. And people were, it was really loud. It was like people were clapping. I was like, is this audience biased? Or are these some people that they found that are that are from the backwoods and still think it's 1945? I'm just asking. I don't know. Let's see, what else did I say? During one question, he said that he was a gentleman, and I had to ask the question, since when were you a gentleman, or are you talking about the Neolithic man? Okay, you part from the Stone Age, because basically, if you grab them in the middle, and you think that that's cute and funny, and whether you, I'm just, and people are gonna vote for him. I just can't get over that. And even though, yeah, it's been years ago, and maybe that's not still your sentiment, but some of your actions speak otherwise. Like, you say things about that your daughter is hot. I would date my daughter. I mean, that sounds like incest. That's not a good thing to say. I'm just saying. But to wrap up that about the Affordable Care Act, all I'm saying is this. Remember, it was a Republican-controlled Congress and a divided Republican Party. Because remember, that was the time when you had the Republicans, and then you had the Tea Party Republicans as well. So you had people that didn't want people to have free health care. So it was a compromise. It was supposed to be free. It wasn't supposed to cost everybody this much. Yes, my copays, or my payment into the health care that my company does pay for, it went up. I'm paying all over $100 a month, or every 2 weeks when I get paid. I'm paying over $100 in health care. So, I mean, not 200, over $100. Sometimes 150, depending on if it's, one of those pay periods where we get paid 3 times in 1 month. Praise the Lord. Is that coming up in October? he kept accusing Hillary of voting for the war. Well, I believe, and I'll have to Google it, so I'm just speaking from what I've heard, and I will admit to when I'm speaking from something I've heard and haven't researched, and maybe I read it too, but there was a lot of misinformation given during the Iraq War, during the Bush administration, the second Bush administration. And of course, Congress voted on false and misleading information. So I don't know how you can blame Hillary for voting based upon what was given. I also think that they keep talking about immigrants and all of this stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, there are people right here in this country that were born here that are citizens, KKK Aryans, who are a threat to national security. Or is that okay because they're not a threat to you all? They just a threat to people of color and different religious groups. Somebody should ask that, because I want to know what y'all doing about them, because it sure just seemed like a lot of them be around and they want to kill black people and make sure that we don't grow and flow. So I'm trying to figure that out. I always find it interesting also when it comes to the immigration discussion that this country was founded by immigrants, basically. They discovered it, they colonized it, they took it out from under the Indians. As a matter of fact, tomorrow is Columbus Day observed, 1492. So I'm trying to figure out, how is it that you can ever speak ill against immigrants? And also the fact that 2 out of your 3 wives, and heaven knows how many girlfriends and other sexual liaisons you've had with women that are immigrants. I mean, does Eastern Europe not count as being a country that would have as countries that are not immigrants? I mean, we should be asking that, because I don't think that Donald Trump knows the distinction. I wish I made $250,000 for those jobs. We talked about that. Oh, and on Twitter, we had Cheryl Steele come up, and I had said, Donald Trump is part of the smear campaign against people of the Muslim faith. And notice I said faith. Okay? This lady, Cheryl Steele, specifically said, really, go back to listening to your favorite stuff. We need to ban every immigrant now. We need to secure the country. I told her, I said, so are your people going to be leaving too? Because unless you were here before 1492, you're not native. I'm just saying. She didn't respond. We also offered to provide her with a copy of Solange Knowles' new album, A Seat at the Table, since I should be listening to that's what I'm listening to right now. So I thought she might want to listen to it too. Something came up, and I guess I got distracted editing the video, because he said something about, told Hillary, you don't even know who the rebels are. And I'm like, well, how do you know who the rebels are? Are you doing business with them? Are you building them golf courses? Selling arms to them? Maybe getting your poppy seeds from them? Then, dumb Donald gonna ask the question, did this fool ask how stupid this country is? I wanted to say, you should be asking, how stupid do you really sound? And how stupid do you think those of us of reasonable intelligence, with the ability to pick up a book and the ability to Google and read and research and do due diligence, what is that about? They asked, I forgot what the question was, but it was that Carter dude, and he easily said yes. I also noticed that the way that Donald Trump answers questions, I want to know if possibly Supreme Court Justice Uncle Ruckus, Clarence Thomas is a member of his family, because they sure don't know how to answer the question asked. Okay. Somebody was doing a drinking game. I said by now they would have wheeled me out. Every time you hear something stupid, drink, I said they would have called for alcohol poisoning by now. That was about 20 minutes into the debate, if you call it that. So Donald Trump is really feeling himself. He said that he is planning on appointing a Supreme Court justice. And I'm still trying to figure out, how is it that you're going to appoint someone when the sitting president has already appointed someone, but we have a Congress that isn't even moving on it, and no one seems to be bothered by it? Am I the only one in this country that seems to notice that we have an empty seat left by Scalia, who he said was a wonderful man, and no, Scalia wasn't, because he said that black people were incapable of learning at certain levels and that certain institutions we should not be in. It is written. And he said that this year before he died. Exit stage left. Okay. We as a people need to rise up and get Congress and make them accountable for this, because this is some bullshit. I don't understand that. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say if you in your last year you can't appoint a Supreme Court justice if he died while you still in office. I'm trying to figure that out. Okay. And I think that's all. Let me see. Some people had questions and comments. I'm going to start going through for those of you. My friend Kenny said that Hillary really can't debate policy because of Donald Trump. He has no real stance. He really doesn't answer questions, so how can you debate him? You and Audrey, Kenny, share that same thought. I share the same thought. I think the majority of us on this thread right now share that same thought. And he's right about Hillary. She doesn't give up. She doesn't stop fighting. She has tenacity. She has experience. He doesn't. All he ever says is, I know about how to fight. I know. Well, how do you know? Because you've never been in that hot seat before. I just want to know. I really don't care about the emails. It was dumb, foolish. It's over and done with. I'm with you, Kenny. Chris is right. There is no perfect candidate. Everyone has their fallacies. It's just like trying to pick your favorite. I'm trying to think. You always get these situations. It's just like trying to pick the right policy. It's trying to pick the right job. It's trying to no job is going to be perfect. Let's say you got 2 job offers. They're offering the same money, but the benefits are different. Which one are you going to go with? Or one is offering more money, but not great benefits. What are you going to go with? Let's see. What else we got here? Lots of comments. My big sister said she loves my hair. Thank you, Cheryl. Talked about that. We talked about that. We need to have people really think before they vote for a third-party candidate. They will not secure enough delegates to win. Not going to happen. And it's just another splitting of the vote. But to each his own. As long as you exercising your right to vote, but I need for you to think long and hard about that. But maybe it's a morality thing. Maybe it makes them sleep better at night. I'm not judging. I'm just advising. That's all I can do. Trump is so ridiculous. He will throw anyone off just from disbelief that he's even there. Arlene is crazy. She said he's a gentleman when he's in the gentleman's club. Audrey, I feel you on the grammar issues. More decent people should speak up and speak out. I agree, Kenny. They do. I want to know, they said that they picked him from some Gallup poll, Chris. That's how people got picked for this debate. But it felt like to me that you had more people supporting Trump in there than you did. Or maybe his family was just that loud. I don't know. Yeah. And Kenny just made a great point too. For some reason, everyone thinks that everyone who's in public office is not entitled to have had a past, not entitled to have made mistakes. There's only one perfect role, and that person is Jesus, and that role is taken. I'm just saying. I just, it's a scary time for this country because so much is going on, especially when you have people that just don't think that it's important for basic needs to be met, and that you have governments that are willing to kill off their people for profit. Flint, Michigan. Um, and that you think it's okay to arrest people. And see, that's stuff we should have talked about. You know, what's your take on the entire prison industrial complex? Although Hillary was always prepared to tell us, please go to HillaryClinton.com and we can find all of her policies. But I will leave you all with this. November 8th is coming. Congress is going to be empty. Damn near. Either you going to get fresh blood in there, or you going to get some oldies but not so goodies that are going to continue to pump the brakes of progress and stop us from continuing to be a great country. Because I do not care what Donald Trump says about making America great. It has its flaws and alls, but it's still a great country to be in. Because there are some countries, when you pull stunts like Ryan, what's his name, Lotte, and possibly Kim Kardashian, those reports still need to be approved, that will kill you for lying. I don't think they would kill us for lying. They would just kill us for killing. But either way, that's all I've got. I want to thank everyone for joining. We still don't know what Donald Trump's policy is. We know what Hillary's is, and I think we're good. Everyone have a good night. Tomorrow is Monday. Make it a great week. And I will see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.